So Meta was flying high there for quite a while. Nice push to the upside there. It has taken a little bit of a breather. And looking to turn around again. Microsoft, struggling a little bit, Microsoft. In a range of 380 to 470. 450. Yeah, it's been just in a ranging mostly in a downward mode for the last 5 weeks, 6 weeks. But has taken out all these lows. So time for a turnaround for Microsoft here. So got a gap right here. They came into this gap, swept these lows, so and rejection candle. So it looks pretty good for a turnaround for Microsoft to continue pushing back to the upside. So it's the overall is looking quite good for the markets, that there could be a nice turnaround that will take us back to the upside. So NVIDIA, it has seen last 3 weeks has been big, huge downs. We've come back into an order block, and now we swept the lows, previous lows. So this could possibly be a turnaround area for NVIDIA now. So this sweep, it looks like we've got 5 waves down. So we could see a turnaround here and a continuation for NVIDIA to the upside. What else do I have? Those are all the big boys, eh? Tesla, we looked at Tesla. And Tesla has been going down the last 5 weeks and has hit an area that it could turn around in, possibly. Anything else? Visa, I've got Visa here. Visa is just really strong. Get rid of this. So Visa, quite strong stock, and a little pullback right now, but I think that's about it for the stocks that I have on my list. Okay, all right, those are the main boys anyways. All right, so let me get back to the NAS. Oh, I haven't even looked at Bitcoin today yet. Sorry, let me take a look at Bitcoin. See what Bitcoin's doing. So Bitcoin came down in this, to me, this is a 4th wave. You know, we've just been chopping up and down. We dropped back into this gap, here. So there are 2 gaps, but it came into the first one, big rejection, and then comes back down again. So basically forming a 1-2 essentially, looking for that to take us out of here. So is that going to be so? I'm going to go to the daily. So there was our huge 1, 2, 3 bottom, another 1, 2 forming. That could propel us out. Otherwise, they're going to be coming back down again to take out these lows. But it looks pretty good that this could possibly be the turning point for Bitcoin, and we could see continued pushes to the upside here. So 4-hour, crazy looking chart here, but is this going to be a 1-2 that takes us up? We do have a gap here, so we could come back into this gap and then push to the upside. So that's what it looks like it's doing at this point. I'm going to mark that 4-hour gap because it's a very prominent one right there. And there's also an inverted gap there at the same point. So quite interesting. There's an inverted gap there. A small one, mind you. There's a bigger one on this side, but we want to be in the below 50% of this move. So ideally, we want to come back into that gap, into the big gap here. So there's 50% of this move right here at the order block, but we'd like to see them come down a little bit more into 50% and then give us that move out. So there's some room there for Bitcoin to drop. So possible play is in the works here just to get down into this gap. So if we can get a 1, 2, 3 top here, a retrace perhaps on this leg would work. So a retrace back up would push us back down. So we've got a 1, 2, 3 top, another 1, 2, 3, and another one, and then this drop. That would be perfect for an entry. So I'm going to mark off a 15-minute gap here, and then there it's already there, 15-minute gap. So if price comes back up here, we could look for an entry to go down. So let's see if it looks like we should get that push up into that gap, and then that will give us the entry at that point to go down. So I like this for a setup here right now. So we just need to get that another push up into that gap in Bitcoin. So keep your eyes on Bitcoin for that. All right, so the NAS. That's Bitcoin on the 5-minute. Look at Bitcoin on the 1-minute. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, sweep. So it looks like they want to come back and sweep this low, perhaps. And we've got a 1, 2, 3 here, so that's the likely scenario. We sweep that low, and then we'll go back up again. So not much of a play to the downside at this point. This would have been a better play if we got in up here to catch the move down. So we would look for a 1, 2, 3 down here to go back up, ideally. So it looks like they're going to take out this low. So I would be looking on the 1-minute for a turnaround play to take us back up into that gap, because that's a long way up to this gap up here. So there, the midpoint of the gap is right there on the dotted line. So that would make for a nice play back to the upside. Short term. All right, so look at the NAS now. So the NAS is doing a similar thing. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and so they're coming back down, looking to take out these equal lows. And at that point, do we go back up again? It might be a little different on the NAS, so I have to go back up a little higher. So on the 5-minute, again, we have a 1, 2, 3 top, drop. We're just chopping around here. We're inside a 4th wave, so we're pretty choppy here. So it might just be quick scalps in here rather than trying to look for anything substantial at this point. So first line is take these guys out. Same thing on the Bitcoin. And now that we've taken out the low, Bitcoin has done the same thing at the same time. Interestingly, it's taken out its low. So can we get will they go for this low, or will they just turn it around in here?
NAS did the same thing. It took out that prior low.
Yeah, this is the NAS.
Oh, okay.
You see how they look so similar. So I would expect another drop here. Interestingly, Okay, if I look at both the NAS and the S&P, or sorry, the NAS and Bitcoin, let me put Bitcoin here. And this is quite interesting. So at this point here, it wasn't divergence. I guess it's sort of divergent because we had this high. Let me see what time that high was. That was at 1319. This high, 1319, is this guy. So we did have divergence there. Big divergence right there. So we got a proper 1, 2, 3 top on Bitcoin, but not one on the NAS. It did it after, and then we get the drop. So I would be expecting another drop here to take out this low. So this drop, one more drop to take out that low, that would be what I would expect. But let me take a look at S&P to see if S&P did the same thing. And yes, the S&P did the same thing as the NAS here. A little bit of divergence right at the top. We get this drop. So I'm looking for another leg down. And here we get divergence at the bottom because S&P did not take out this low. NASDAQ did. So the S&P could still take out both lows. NASDAQ, will it have enough to take out this low again is the question at this point. Since we've already swept here, it might not have enough oomph to come down and take out this low. This is where it can get very tricky. Mark these. Divergence. So can we take out the lows again? Good afternoon, Marquis. Good afternoon, Omar.
Good day, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Okay.
Afternoon. Good morning, Vic.
Everyone else.
Hope you guys are doing well today.
Yes, I am.
Yes, I had a little success in gold. Just watching it right now.
Excellent. So I think gold was in an overall uptrend. So
Yep. There's a nice 1, 2, 3 forming on the 5 minute.
Okay, let me just pay attention to this for a moment, and right at this critical moment here where, because I have this divergence on NAS and S&P and with the Bitcoin as well, looking to see which one's going to tell the truth here. I'm looking for them to break the low up here.
I'm pretty sure that the indices are just going to keep dropping with the dollar, at least for the immediate future here. I've been just riding the short-term pain wave. Short-term pain for long-term gain wave.
Okay, so it looks like this is a tie on the S&P here. So getting very interesting divergences here, because S&P cannot take out these equal lows over here, while the NAS did. So the S&P is a little stronger, and now it's trying again to break that low. So if it breaks through that low, will it continue down to take out the equal lows? And that is the question here. Yes, it did. Okay, so we get breach. So these lines mean nothing anymore. We breached them. So now divergence is no longer. So I'm looking for a turnaround, but we also have lows over here that are in play now. So is it going to take out that low? I don't want to see them take out this low, but they could. I'd like to see a turnaround to go back up short term to take out the highs. And I think Peter is looking for that as well with Tesla. So if I put Tesla here, it's in a downward mode, but Peter wants to see this continue down because he's in it going down. But I think we might get a turnaround to go back up here. S&P again. And then Bitcoin. So these three seem to be in tandem. Bitcoin has swept that low, and I'm looking for them to sweep this low one more time here. And then turn this around. So that will give us our nice structure. And looks like NAS wants to take out the low. Wow, interesting. Okay. Let's see if Bitcoin can take out that low. Let's go back to S&P. So S&P is much stronger, a little stronger than the NAS because it can't make it down to that low. So again, we're getting some divergence. So I'm getting divergence at this point. S&P versus the NAS. So will S&P take out this low? Very close. Or do we get divergence here? Now Bitcoin is taking out its low. Okay, so S&P is taking out the low, so no more divergence.
Tesla is tanking.
Tesla is dropping. So it's taking out that low. Tesla's taking out that low. Okay, so there we go. Glad for you there, Peter. Thought maybe we'd get a bounce there. So we have gone, I was looking for them to possibly bounce it back up first, but they said no. All right.
Trying to make up for the brutal beating I took yesterday.
S&P breaking that low. So Tesla also whipping down through that low. So I thought, like I said, perhaps that they would bounce it up one time, but nope, they're not doing that. So straight down we go. But there was two possibilities that they could bounce it back up into this gap or just drop it straight down. So they went straight down. There we go. So look for a low point coming up now. You go up higher to see what's to the left. So we're still inside that big gap on the daily time frame. So we're down at the 3/4 point on that gap. So we could be very much at a bottom now, Peter. So be very aware of that.
I see us heading for 245. I see us heading for 245.
Okay, so you're looking for further drop on this, hey? Okay.
Oh yeah.
If you
absolutely.
flip Tesla off of the weekly time frame, off of the wave 1, it's coming about the 100% mark. Down off of the wave 1, which is about 256 area. So if you just throw a fib right there on the wave 1 to the downside, then it's coming about the 100% mark, around 256.
I see 245.
Okay, so we're right on this order block, and there is another gap below. So it is possible for them to push it further down for sure. Always have to look at all the possibilities. So I never just go gung-ho one way or the other because there's possibilities. So looking at it from this level on the daily, because we're in this gap, big order block here, we could turn here in this area. We certainly could, even just a retrace. We have come down 5 waves. It's a very elongated 5th wave here. For us to come all the way down below these lows, that's a push. You know, that's quite a stretch to get down here. So Peter's saying 245, which is kind of in between. So we're at a crucial area. So again, care must be taken at this point because it may look like yes, we could go a lot lower, but this is buying opportunity for a lot of people. So we could get some buying going on here that could turn things up.
If you look at the 5-minute chart, we're in a downtrend continuation pattern. Leg 1 has unfolded. We went through price equilibrium or consolidation, and now leg 2 is unfolding. Leg 2 is usually the same distance as leg 1. You can see the 1, 2, 3 top there on the 5-minute, followed by wave 3 down into wave 4, now wave 5 down. Wave 5, leg 2 is usually the same distance as leg 1.
So are you referring to this as the 1, 2, 3 top at this point?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So if that's so, and we've come through into this choppy area, and then we're looking for that leg down, which we got, you're saying that the same height here.
No, from
And
leg
from
1,
this
leg 1
distance
is
here
from
to here.
Leg 1 is all the red candles from the number 3 point down to.
Yeah. So you're
no,
looking for that same movement down to occur in this area, going down as well.
Yes.
Okay. So that's definitely a possibility. You know, we of course. So let's look at it from this vantage point. So we have a 1, 2, 3 top here. So now we know where we're going. So there's our 1, 2, 3 top here, and we've hit our 3 point already. So we could gyrate in here, and one more drop to go. So Peter is correct. We're going to go down a little further, and we can even calculate now where we're going to head. So let me just calculate this using the fibs. And 1.618 takes us to 259. And then let's see where 2.618 takes us to 257. So another drop to 257 and even down to 256 is definitely in the cards here. Definite possibility here. So we're not complete on this move to the downside just yet. So very good. All right, so I'm going to put the NAS back on. So the NAS is doing the same thing. We've got a 1-2 here. Let's move down. So selling time.
That
Selling
low
time
takes
to
you
continue
back
now.
to November.
I'm sorry, George?
That low on the NAS takes you back to November.
Mm-hmm.
Put a daily up and you'll see.
So I'll be looking for a sell here on the NAS. Come back into a gap. 1, 2, 3, 4. We could go one more time, or we're done, one or the other. Looking for one more push above the high. So this would have been a nice sell on the NAS right here. And that retrace right back into that gap.
Yeah.
And a nice drop. So if we can retrace now back up into a gap, probably that one or that one, we can get a nice move going down again. Here we go, getting that push back up right now. Okay, so looking for a sell here.
On my 1 minute, it's looking like it wants to turn around the moving averages.
I'm going up to this higher gap here. Here we go. All right, so that will give me a sell opportunity, and they're even going higher than I'm expecting. So that's going to be a wick. I'm going to sell the wick at this point. So right in that gap. So the alternative here is to wait for price to come back and break below, retrace, and then drop. And that gives you an entry in this area. So that's the alternative play, rather than jumping in on the wick in a gap here. So my stop would now be above this candle's high, or the high, the swing high. So I prefer to go just above that candle's high. That's the candle that started the gap, so that's a reasonable spot. However, if you feel, anyway, you can always put it higher, but you risk it becomes higher. So
Could you give your perspective on the 5 minute for the NAS then?
okay. So on the 5 minute time frame.
Because what I'm seeing on the 5, well, I would ask if there is a case for the completion of the 5-wave structure coming down.
There is a case for it. However, on the 1 minute, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm looking for one more drop here. That's the reason why I'm looking for that one more drop.
Oh, you're looking for the same structure on the 1 minute?
Yes, the exact same structure. So we get the 1, 2 here, 3, 4. And so I'm looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, and one more drop. And this is the one more drop here for the bigger one. And then the same thing on the fifth leg, right?
Okay.
So when we drop down to the 1 minute, you can see that that's the case. We're not finished on that leg. So from the 5 minute standpoint, it looks like we're done. But when you come to the 1 minute, it's saying, oh, we still have another drop that's possible here, right? Not saying that I'm correct, but that's what we would expect, right?
Yeah, I understand. Based on the Elliott wave.
You would expect that drop.
But sometimes you don't get it.
Sometimes we don't get it, but if you have to expect it.
Yeah.
That's our structure. We have to expect the structure. We have to expect that drop to occur. So if we're not getting it, that means there's divergence of some kind with something else. With the NAS, here with the NAS, it would be the S&P. So the S&P would be giving us a different story. And both are telling the same story right now. So I'm expecting a drop. And we looked at Tesla, and Tesla also is doing the same thing. So we've got a nice 1, 2, 3. So we got this is our number 3. So this would be 4. So this is a sell on Tesla at this point to come down. So you can either wait for a breach of the lows and wait for a 1, 2, 3 here to go, or you can jump in on the wick. We're inside a gap, so everything looks pretty good, But there's again no guarantee that this is going to fall, but that's what we would expect, right? And even Bitcoin, I I think is doing the same thing. Bitcoin is also doing a similar type movement. I'm expecting Bitcoin to fall as well. Let's see. How are we doing here? Okay, so we're doing pretty good. I'm going to take a little something off because I can, just so that I can start moving off on a good foot. Good note. All right, so there we go. So now I'll just see if we can continue going down. So I could move my stop down a little bit, but we're still a bit tight here, so I'll leave it alone for now. So I would not expect them to take the high again.
It's trying to pull it down, but still a battle.
So yeah, from the higher time frame, you can get fooled if you don't see the nitty gritties on the lower time frames. You have to be careful about that because it looks more, you know, from the air, it's just an overall you get, but you need to come down to the lower time frame to see the details of what's going on. And so you would be thinking, oh yeah, from the higher time frame it looks like it's done, but from the lower time frame it says no, we still have another leg to go in that bigger picture. So yeah, you always have to be careful when you're down on the smaller time frame. You have to be careful that you're not overlooking what's on the higher time frame. So it's both ways, right? So it's quite tricky sometimes. So the expectation here is that we would take out this low. So where are we going to if we take out that low would be the question. So let's see if I can see something that will give me a hint.
Have to go to the daily time frame to see.
So, yeah, so we've already passed that, taken out that low over here on the hourly. 4 hour, nothing, daily. Wow. So I have to go all the way up to the daily. So after we breach this low here, the low lows are next, the lowest of lows. So that's where they're heading. More than likely, right? To take out those lows. Amazing. And those are equal lows. So that's a possibility there. So that would definitely push Tesla down to those lower limits as well. So I could put a target for that lower low. That might be a stretch at this point. So probably not so wise to do that. It's a long way down. So I would go for the low hanging fruit and just look to come down to the current lows, which is still a really nice profit anyways. Let's go down a little over 2 grand here, just a little lower. Oh, what? Thought I went below 2,000. Yeah. I just I totally forgot about Bitcoin there. I was wanting to get into Bitcoin as well, and I just totally forgot about it for a second there and missed the opportunity. So that would have been a nice sell on Bitcoin. I mean, you could still jump in at this point, but it's a nice sell on Bitcoin as well to continue down, taking out both lows. And once they take this low, we could still get a retrace. And we have, so it's never, sometimes it's not too late, but sometimes they just take off without you. So there's an inverted gap right here. So we could come back to touch that inverted gap now that we've swept and have a change of character there. So it's a possible retrace back, but it's going down pretty quick right now. So I can go into positive on my trade now. Let's keep it above the order block. So Tesla should be coming down nicely right now. That's the expected move, and Bitcoin also dropping much faster than the other guys. They've taken out the low already. So that was a missed entry, and not giving us any retrace. So there's our 1, 2, 3, 4. There's our structure. So they're heading to take out this low. We've got another 1, 2 here, and we're doing the same thing again. So if they were to give us a push back up to here, which is possible, that would be a good sell, because we still have that move down to come. But I don't think they're going to go all the way back up there. S&P coming down nicely. So you can see now on the S&P, clean 1, 2, 3 top. So we should continue down, taking out these lows. So this is just beautiful pattern right now. Just beautiful, beautiful stuff. This is, you know, once you can see this, it's so beautiful. Like, it's just. So you always want to be able to see your structure and know where you are in your structure. So since we came to this level here after a 1, 2, this is the controller, and we came to this level, then we expect a retrace. We expect that, and then we expect price to break this level. We have to expect that. So that's why you can jump in at this point to catch the move down. And the best time to be selling is when price is moving up. You want to sell when price is moving to the upside, because you get a better price. you're selling in premium, and getting the best price at the highs. So that's why I jumped in on the wick, because we hit in a gap. So the gap is telling us, okay, that might be the end of that move to the upside. We've got an order block there as well. So that the order block is blocking the price from going any higher, and we should get that drop. So in the same way, we know that when we get this move to here, at this point, you would expect that we're going to get this move back up. So you could buy here. You could do the same thing. You could buy in the drop, buy into the wick, and get the move back up. So if you're nimble, you can do that. You can buy here, sell here, sell here. This is a tougher one. You can't really buy wave 2. It's possible yet on a higher time frame, but not on the 1 minute. You don't want to do that. You can buy wave 3 for sure. This is the one we want. We want to buy this, or sell this in this case. Sell this leg. You can buy wave 4, but it's tough to buy wave 4 because wave 4 can chop. So you might not go anywhere. So you have to be careful about doing that. Okay, so they did come back up on Bitcoin a bit. So I jumped in on Bitcoin a little late. I wasn't paying attention again, and they almost came back to that gap, unbelievably. I didn't think they would come all the way back up there. But there's a bigger gap just below, and they came into that gap. So a good opportunity for a sell to continue down. Just took a partial on Bitcoin real quick. Lots of volatility all of a sudden, eh?
There has been all morning. We've been up as high as 60 ATR. The VIX wasn't that high before, right? Well, it's up. VIX is up to 25.13 right now. It was around 23 earlier.
Could have added to my position here on NAS. Trying to juggle Bitcoin and NAS.
That's nice.
Yeah, I saw this big, huge ball of fire just fall out of the clouds one evening. This is the big, huge ferry that takes us from Vancouver to Victoria. You can carry like 500, I don't know, 1,000 cars or trucks and buses. Amazing.
Did I tell you the story, Lennox, about the couple who boarded the ferry in Vancouver for Victoria? And they when they got to Victoria, they went to the attendant, one of the attendants, and said, "Where's our car?" The attendant said, "Well, where did you park it on the on board?" And they said, "Well, we left it in Vancouver. We thought you put it on the ferry."
Oh my. That's a drag. Hopefully it wasn't the last ferry.
Well,
go back
yeah,
over
it's the
again.
last ferry, you're SOL.
Yeah. Sometimes I've made it I'm the last car to go onto the ferry. Can't get another car on. And that's just pure luck.
Yeah, they squeeze you on so tight you can't even open your door to get out of your car.
Yeah, sometimes. Okay, Tesla is doing a dance here. Tesla's really not dropping very fast. We're just kind of struggling in a fourth wave area here, but I'm expecting a drop, a nice drop here. So expecting that drop.
This has been difficult for me to analyze at this point, so I'm just watching.
Yeah, well, you can see where we are. We're in a fourth wave, so
Yeah.
we're just chopping up and down. So we're in the 2 o'clock algo time frame, but not much is going on.
No, not much.
No, we're not getting any algo moves here. But yeah, we're just chopping in the fourth wave, so I'm expecting one more drop to take out the lows here. Tesla should follow suit as well and come down. Bitcoin, same thing.
There's a lot of dumb money holding it up.
They're chopping around right now, that's for sure. So it's just patience.
Patience is the hardest part of this game.
Yes, sir. Patience is the hardest part, indeed. Well, they say the patient trader takes the money from the impatient trader, right?
Patient traders take the money from the patients.
Sorry?
The patient traders take the money from the patients.
Yeah, I'm getting a nice drop on Bitcoin right now.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
drops
so
coming in now.
I'll take another partial on this guy. Yes, that's a really nice profit there. So they did come back. They're very sneaky, eh? They did come back into that gap incredibly. Okay, why can't I not? Okay, it's not. There we go. We come back now. I think we've come back. Nope. What's going on? I'm frozen here. Here we go. Okay, so we did come back into that little gap that I was saying that we could come back into on Tesla. Sorry, on Bitcoin. That inverted gap, and we did indeed come right back into it. And you can see how they chop it around, and now they're taking it down. So I need to put a target on for this guy. So I'm going to go to the 5 minute. So just for low hanging fruit, I could go to the lows here. Yeah, I don't want to go too far down at this point, even though we could go much lower, but can't see to the left here at all. 30 minute. Okay, there we go. So we do have some lows over this side. Let me just get rid of this guy here. So we do have these lows here. So that would be a possibility that they're heading down to take out the low. But I'll go for the low hanging fruit on this move anyways. So Tesla is slowly coming down, Peter, slowly coming down.
Take its time.
I just drop my stop down a little bit here, mitigating the losses. Okay, so NASDAQ. Okay, NASDAQ is getting there very slowly. I can bring my stop down to this high here. So very close to target here on the NAS. I've taken out the lows and I've hit target. So it's probably going to go lower, but that's okay. Take some profits there. And Bitcoin also heading down to those targets. So one more low to take out here. So everything very nice today, very nice and orderly, not really super volatile, but the structure is very nice. You can see the nice movement, and inside we get this other nice structure movement. So need to just drop one more time. So even on this leg, we get the same structure movement. And so hopefully I'm not too low with my target here. Could cost me. Move my stop into positive just in case that's the case. So Tesla should be making a nice drop here. And it is. So you're hanging in there, Peter.
Oh yeah, I'm hanging on. I sure am.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful structure. Very nice. And it looks like this high might be higher. So that's 263.17. This is 263.15. So this is higher. So that line I just drew should go like this. So this is really 1, 2, 3, 4. So inside we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we get 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5. So
And we have a demand. We have a demand trend line break.
So that's the structure, and the structure within the structure. And that's the beautiful pattern that you're playing, and you want to be able to know where you are in it. If you can know where you are in that pattern, wow, this is it. So yeah, so NAS more than likely will go a little lower for sure, because I can see that there is the 1, 2 here is rather large, so we could drop them another time. So Bitcoin's moving back up a little bit. They're retracing a little, so that for one more drop to come. So as long as they don't take me out, that'll be okay. And looks like I got taken out. That's too bad. Yeah. Okay. Made some nice profits there in Bitcoin. They've come back a little bit more than I would have expected here, but that's the way it is sometimes. So I'm at 1,000,006 with my account. I'm hoping to get to 2 million by the end of March. Let's see if I can do it.
What's
Always
your
good.
daily average on that, or a weekly average or something?
Well, that's since November. When did I start? In November? Let's say, what was it? September, October. So yeah, October. Let's say the beginning of October. To where are we now? Beginning of March, right?
Right.
So
We have 5 months.
5 months. November, December, January, February. So 4 months really, because March hasn't really started. So all of October, November, December,
November,
January,
December,
February.
January,
Yeah, so that's 5
It's
months.
5 months.
Yeah, so 5 months. So 5 into 16 goes 3 times. So we're looking at about 300 grand a month. Not bad.
No, that's good. So
So yeah, I started off with 100
grand.
grand. I'm at,
March, and that'll tell you if you're going to make the 2 mark.
yeah, so I've got a 400 to go for March. I need to really pick it up here in March. But, all right, so they did come back up quite a ways here on Bitcoin, and they like to do that. Bitcoin can get really volatile. So one of the things I've learned in Bitcoin is take your profits as quickly as you can, because they tend to do this. They come back against you really quickly and really violently sometimes. So that's why I'm always taking profits off quickly on Bitcoin. So I left a little bit on the table there on Bitcoin, but that's all good. I made some profits anyways. So I could still jump in to continue back down if I believe that there's still more down. However, they did sweep that low. So because they swept the low, it is possible that that's the bottom. So this could just become a 1-2 and we could go back up now. So we have to be careful. because of that sweep, because that does give us our structure. We did come down to the low and we broke that low, so that could be the end, and we get a 1-2 here to go back to the upside. So have to be a little bit careful. And I was being a little greedy in the sense that, you know, I really should have put my target just below the low. I went a little lower than that, thinking that they could drop it down a bit more. So, so let's see at the NAS. So the NASDAQ is breaking the previous low, which is what I would have expected because we got a 1-2 there. So we need to break that low one more time. So now we could also be turning around at this point. So we do have a sweep and then another little sweep. So we could get a 1-2-3 here to go back up. And Tesla has also broken those lows. So we're sitting around 260 right now, Peter, and we've broken the lows. And so, yes, there could be a little bit more down, but you have to, again, be careful because they can turn this thing around as well. See how S&P looks. So they're still going down, which is a good sign. So the size of this leg here to this low, which is right in here, you can equate to this one as well. So whatever that height is, so for an example, let me just clear everything here. This high, get this high to this low. If I were to project that for this leg, then it would be that height. So we could, it's about the same height. So we could be very close to the end of this move at this point. But even in this leg right now, you know, we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves. So still a bit more, one more drop. We're looking for one more drop here at least, anyways. S&P looks like it's done. NASDAQ looks like it might be done. And Bitcoin. Yeah, so will Bitcoin break this low again, or are we done? We're inside a gap. So we could be getting this move back out. So our structure is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sweep here, retrace back in. So it's looking pretty good for a buy, but I'm a bit skeptical still because they can still trick you and take out this low one more time just to be mean. And it looks like that's exactly what they're doing. So yeah, so they're kind of messing us up a little bit here with the structure. It looks like we're done, and then they go up and do this. You say, what are they doing? You know, why would they do that? And then what it's saying is that this whole thing is a fourth wave. They just chop it up, make it look like it's done, and then they drop it one more time, take you out. So I was correct. I just couldn't stay in it. All right, so that would have dropped NAS down a bit more then. Yes, and S&P down a little bit more. And Tesla down a little bit more.
Well,
Close
it's
to
going down
breaking.
more. That's right, yeah.
Okay, Tesla turning back up already, but we did not get a breach of one more time of the low. Interesting. So it's still a possibility for them to drop it one more time, but it's pretty choppy in there. That's our time now. We're at half past. Okay, so we still haven't had a real algo move since 2 o'clock. We haven't really had a strong algo move. So this could be it. So I'm getting a nice setup to go back to the upside now. So would that be correct to take this to the upside at this point? So where did we come down to? So we're down right to that level. We haven't taken out the lows, which they might not take out. And it looks like a huge fourth wave that played out here. And it could be like this. And that's, so inside of it, you get A, B, C. A, B, yeah, it's pretty messed up here, boy. They really messed this one up. This is super nasty. And this big drop. So turnaround area, possibly, or they'll go down one more time to take out this low, equal lows here. But it's quite the drop. Still looks like there's some weakness left in this from this level. So there's our structure on this at this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, and our fifth leg sweeping this low. So we have a 1, 2 here, 3, and this is a fourth wave. Something like that. And then we get the E leg. So this is like an A, B, C, D, or sorry, A, B, C, D, E, and then we get this move down. So we should be really at the very end of this move. Time for a turnaround, I would say. "30-minute, 15-minute. So now we're starting to see our structure on this last leg. So we're very much at the bottom of this move, I would say. On the 5-minute, we'll see it much clearer. So we had divergence on S&P at the top. So right here, there was divergence. If I put S&P there, oops, I put S&P there. We had divergence right there. So are we done? Are we done? Big question mark now. So looking pretty good here. I've got a sweep, retrace. We've got a closure above. So I've got check mark, check mark, check mark, retrace, check mark. This is looking like a buy opportunity on the NAS. So I'm going to take a buy right here because we're right in that. I should have got it a little lower, but that's okay. Looking for a quick push back out of this 1, 2, 3 setup right here. I'll give it one candle as my stop. take a quick partial just in case they are trying to fool me. Let's go back up a little bit more again. Too slow here. Yeah, really too slow. Okay, so let's go back up there. Could be fooling me, yeah. We did sweep that guy. Shouldn't sweep this guy again unless they're coming down. Oops, and it looks like this what they're doing. So it's a little fake. So a very, very good one too, because they've got everything lined up nicely. We got the sweep, the move up, this retrace. We should be going, but they say nope. They come back and take you out. So it's a nice little fake move. I'm just too slow to grab a little partial there. That would have mitigated my loss, but that's okay. All right, so they've swept everybody here who put their stops in. Still holding, so it still could go up, but that was everything's lined up nicely here for that to go to the upside. We've just taken everybody out here. So let's see if they break the high and come back in. That would give another opportunity for a play to the upside. A little choppy here though. So it's gone 9 wins, 1 loss until that loss there. So kind of broke my nice little stint there. So Bitcoin is also setting up for that move back up. Tesla might also be turning to the upside, Peter. So just to, you can see Tesla, same type of thing. They sweep that low. We've gone and swept this high, come back in. So we could be going. And Bitcoin has done similar.
If you look at the 1 minute chart, I may be misreading the chart, but it looks like we have a 1, 2, 3 drop down to 3, up to 4 down, and then down to 5.
So if you're looking at this as the 1, 2 here?
No, I'm just to the right.
This one.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
1,
because
2, down to 3.
this is lower. This is lower than this one. So
yeah, but so that makes that a 1, 2, 3 top.
yeah, so this makes it a 1, 2 here.
And then
so
down
then
to 3.
This
and
we
up to
could be
4.
done because we swept that low.
Oh, so you're saying that wave 5 was that little blip down?
Yeah, we could have, that could have been it because we swept both of them. We swept this side as well. So it's a possibility, or that, they could be chopping it here and we could drop one more time, certainly. Right? They can fool you this way.
Kind of thinking we're going to get another fall.
It's possible. So, keep that in mind though, that, they can fool us here really, really easily. So you see how I got tricked and my stop was just too tight. So if in George's play, he would put his stop here, so he'd be fine in this, getting this drawdown back here, and you'd still be okay. So that's the difference of your stop placement can cost you. So that's a nice move that I missed because of that. So now I'd be, since I got a breach here, I'd be looking for a retrace back to the order block. If they can touch that, then I would jump in. So are they fooling us still, and they're going to drop it through and take out these lows? Possibly, but this is a nice move right now that's given us everything that we check mark for the sweep, check mark for the sweep, close above the highs, retrace back in. So another check mark, retrace. So this is 2, 3, 4 check marks. That's beautiful. So 1, 2, 3, 4 check marks. Can't pass up on 4 check marks like that.
Yeah, that looks good, Lennox.
Yeah, it's a great move there. So unfortunately, I had put my stop a bit too tight. That was my downfall. Usually you give them one candle like that, and that one should have held because they did sweep that guy there, but there was equal lows right below it too. So that's why they decided to come back and get those equal lows, because they're mean that way. So they did that.
Yeah, you see on the stops, I mean, my ATR right now is like 35. So, you have to be careful on putting too close a stop in.
Yes. Yes, indeed. All right, so can we come back down to, we've got a gap here. It's a little high on the gap at this point, but they could just bounce off that one if they decide to come back at all. Because a lot of the times they don't even give you a chance to get in. Like yesterday when we saw, they just kept going without coming back. So if they give us a reprieve back here, then it's a buy opportunity at that point. Although you'd like to see them come in a little deeper, but it doesn't mean they have to come all the way back down here. Bitcoin also took off. Bitcoin did a really nice 1, 2, 3 here at the bottom as well. It's just beautiful. Like this is there it is, the sweep. So that's check mark. We go back up, breach, retrace. So check mark, close above, check mark, and the retrace, check mark. So it's a buy, it's a buy. This is a much cleaner, nicer one than the NAS, because the NAS was more choppy in here. So by trying to hide my stop on one of those wicks or tail, that cost me. But here on the NAS, on the Bitcoin, they dropped right back down. So this would have been a nice entry here, which stops below these candles, something like that. But nice move here. Okay, so did we come back? No, they're not coming back at all. So they came back a little bit, but not much. All right, so now the entire move becomes 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can still come back, but it's you got to wait. So that's what I was saying about Tesla. Peter, that's the same thing. They've taken both lows, they've swept the highs, retraced back in, so it's a buy opportunity at this point now. So I take this trade all day long because, yes, they could come back down and take you out, but because they've swept two sides, the likelihood of them coming back to take you out here is very low. So it's a probability trade, then the probability is high that this will work. So if this is the high of that move, then I would be looking at a possible retrace back down into this area. But what a beautiful move on Bitcoin there, just superb. So looking at this on the 15. So the same thing. If I went on the 5-minute time frame, you could enter from the 5 minutes. So we get the sweep over here. You would look for breach of the previous high, or wait for that one. That's more like the 15-minute high. Rather, I like this one for the 5-minute high, and then a retrace possibility to go. So if we go to the 15-minute, then it's that there's that 15-minute high. So breach of that, sweep, a retrace back. It's the same thing. You can do it on the 15-minute, you can do it on the 5-minute, you can do it on the 30-minute, you can do it on the hourly. You just have to be more patient. But it's the same structure, the same sweep. This is the pattern that you're looking for. The sweep and the sweep, the retrace, entry.
The sweep increases the probability.
The sweep really increases the probability. And this is something, like I mentioned before, that I did not take into account when we were trading off the hourly only. When we traded off the hourly, I never looked at the sweeps because I didn't know at the time, in 2017 when I came into the world of Forex from the options world, I never looked at sweeps and liquidity levels and so forth. All I was looking for was my a low and then a 1, 2, 3 and a go. So I never looked to the left to see, oh, was there a previous, low that was swept? I never looked at it that way. So now that ICT has pointed out, oh yeah, there's liquidity and liquidity sweeps, this becomes huge. So this liquidity sitting here at this point was swept by this wick tail. So previous high gets swept, retraced back in to a order block in this case because there are no gaps. If you can get that, that's an entry. You take that all day long. And where's your target? Once you enter that, your target is up at the highs because that's the next liquidity level. And it works out beautifully because when you put the fib on this move, it takes you to that previous high. My 1.6, I like the 1.618 target and 1.618. And that's usually when you get your 1, 2, 3 at this point, that takes you to your 1.618, which is usually the previous highs. It's amazing that the math works out that way, but that's how it is. So I'm kind of kicking myself in the head here because I was waiting for Bitcoin to take that entry and did not catch it because I was fooling around on NAS getting stopped out. So that's a nice, really nice move there. So as long as you know what you're looking for, though, you're not going to catch every single one. This is the whole point. You're not going to catch every move. A lot of times you see these moves and it's like, oh wow, that was such a beautiful move, but you didn't get in. But that's okay because they come up often. So the key thing is to recognize it. And this is the recognition of it here. It's beautiful. This is just a beautiful setup. Now, in this case, we didn't get a sweep of this high at that point, so that would be not one check, but there's previous highs here that were swept at this lower level. So you can use those and catching that move. A little bit of a retrace here, not much. And they're gone again. So we're getting quite the push now on the indices, and the NAS now is big, huge move. So being stopped out didn't help at all. Didn't give me the big retrace either. S&P is doing the same thing. And Tesla is also screaming back up. So that's just the way it is. So, when we look at Tesla, if I go back up to the daily, because I'm in this gap and we're at the midpoint of the gap and we can't break below the midpoint of the gap with a closure of a candle on the daily, it's telling us a story. It's telling us that it's a possibility that that's the end of the move because we sweep the previous 3 days ago candle low. And now we can't close below midpoint of that gap. So it's a huge possibility that could be the bottom at that point. And we can see our structure is intact. This looks pretty good. This is an elongated fifth wave. So we got an extended fifth wave, more so than an extended third wave. The third wave didn't extend much at all. It's just a very short third wave. The fifth wave is the one that extended. So this can happen in Elliott. You can get sometimes a shorter third wave than the fifth wave. One of the rules is that the third wave is usually longer.
Are we developing a fifth wave on the NAS?
I'm sorry, George?
On the NAS, is it going to develop a point to get in for the wave 5?
So the NAS, we would.
What time frame are you on? Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I'm on the 1 minute now. So yeah. We would need a big, huge retrace here to catch this. So if we look at this from the higher time frame now, like the 15, you can see what's going on. So this is just the first leg, first wave. So, breach here. So on the 15-minute, this breach here, that's the ideal. You want to see a closure above, ideally, of course, and then a retrace back in. So that would give us a 1, 2, 3 on the 15-minute time frame to go. So if you're patient and you just said, okay, I just want to trade on the 15-minute time frame, and you waited for this pattern, that's doable, but you have to have that patience. I mean, we used to do it on the hourly, George, all the time, right?
Yeah.
We did this. We waited patiently for those 1, 2, 3.
Now.
Yeah, we waited patiently all the time for those 1, 2, 3 to set up on the hourly and made some nice trades, and they're beautiful, right? So, 15-minute is even the shorter time frame, but you can also do it on the 5-minute. So now on the 5-minute, you can see it's already doing its thing. We've already breached that high, so we've got our sweep. We've got our breach, we've got our closure above, we're retracing back in. We're retracing back into order block or a gap or an inverted gap. So we've got a big, huge gap there, but there might be an inverted gap on the other side. There is one right there. So you look for those kind of things, that's a possibility. But we have a little secret edge over everybody. We have our structure. So if you understand the structure, then you can look on this leg coming down for that structure to play out. Then you know that you're coming down to the end of the move and you can jump in at the bottom of that structure to go.
Yeah, it's a question where the bottom of that structure should come in at.
That's a big, huge bonus that we have over a lot of the traders who haven't got a clue what's going on with the structure. So you can see the structure going up and you got that move. And then now they're coming back. It's going to do the same type of move. So we know that there's an order block here. So it's possible that that could end up there. If there's a gap and there's a little gap there, yeah, we could come back into that gap. If there's an inverted gap on the other side, you could use that and so forth. So the ideal
gaps aren't very big at this point.
I'm sorry, George?
The gap doesn't appear to be very big.
No, it's not a very big one. So we can mark off 50%. So we're looking like, okay, let's come back down about 50% of the entire move. So if you can just do that, that gives you a gauge as to a possible entry area. So there's 50% of this move from high to low. And again, I'm looking at my structure, and yeah, I'd love to come back in below 50% ideally, because this is discount and this is premium. So I want to be in discount when I'm buying. And so here's an order block right there. So that would be a good landing spot in between 50 and 72% to get in. So this has given us an opportunity to get in now on this retrace. So all the buyers down here would be taking their profits off here, and then price is dropping back. So opportunity now, but this is the best place to get in to catch the big move. The big move is coming, because remember, this is our first leg, second leg, the third wave is the one we want. Just like here, we got the first leg, second leg, the third leg is what you want. So, all right, so we're below 50%. So I'd like to see them come right into this order block, but they might not. There's a gap there as well. And again, you look at a
bit of a gap. It's getting closer to it.
Yeah, so the structure helps. The structure tells me that, okay, we're getting very close. So a touch of that order block would be a buy, and we're right into the order block at that point. So,
oh, there we go.
Yeah, so that looks pretty good. So I would take the buy based off just coming into the order block. So where would I put my stop? That's the tricky part now, right? So at this point, I've got a small gap here. And we're going through the order block. We're coming down into that gap. That's amazing. So they're going down a little more than I would have expected.
Yeah, yeah.
So I would put my stop below the gap here. So I'm taking a little bit of a risk. It's a bit more, they've come down a bit more than I would have expected at this point. So stop right below. So there is a small gap here. Oh, and they take me out immediately. Wow. So that didn't work. Okay, so they're coming down a lot more than I would have expected. It looked like we were done. 1, 2. I was looking on the second chart. It looked like we were done as well. I thought we'd be done right there, and we could bounce off that gap. But they went one more down. Okay, so I'm going to jump back in again because they're just mean. So I put my stop below the mid candle of the gap, and I technically should be using the low candle of the gap. So to my own chagrin there. I'm always trying to, get the smallest.
Oh, it actually went below the order block.
It went way below the order block, and went in. There's another gap just below the order block. Right. And they went into that one, and they're holding into that gap. So I've made my loss back almost at this point. So if they go back up a little bit.
Making back losses.
Let me just take a little something off real quick here, just to get some of that back. That's a nice move. Okay, so made a little something back. So now mitigate my loss a little bit here, keep my stop tight, and then see if we can get this big push back up to the upside here. So Bitcoin should have done a similar retrace as well. So Bitcoin did do the almost the identical retrace, and Tesla would have done the same thing. So that same move takes us back down 50%. So an opportunity now to buy Bitcoin. And they've come right to the order block only. So that's interesting. They didn't come below the order block like how the NAS did. So I wasn't really expecting the NAS to go below the order block. But, all right. So at this level right here, you can do the same thing like we do here with the sweep, with the move back up, with the breach. It's the same thing. They've done a sweep right there. They go up, they go above the high, they come back in. It's a buy at that point. You see, so it's the same. This here is the same thing as this. It's just on a smaller scale.
Yeah.
You're just using a few candles rather than using a whole series of candles.
Still not finished at this point.
So I was looking for another drop.
The 3 o'clock macro at this point.
Looking for that little bit of a pullback here on the NAS. I don't know if they're going to give it to us or not. They might not. So might have missed it again. Again, when I say miss, you can always jump in at this point if you want, but then your risk becomes higher because you have to put your stop somewhere. You want to get it in a retrace ideally so that your stop is not so wide.
I just read a thing that it looks like Trump lifted the tariffs again, so that might be why we're getting these pushes up.
You mean further from the auto ones?
Yeah.
Oh, because he lifted the auto ones.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he's backing down real quick, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's, that's a nasty thing he did against Canadians here who have been allies. Let's work together.
Well, that's not Canada. That's Mexico.
No, it's now. There's another article that says Canada as well.
Oh, okay, and that's only for whatever is under the agreement of the USMC.
I haven't read the whole article, but it very well could be.
Okay. Well, for the Mexico one, that's what he said until April 2nd.
Yeah, and I think the article I'm reading said it's Canada now too.
Oh, okay.
That's good.
But again, I haven't read the whole article.
Yeah, we don't need any wars. Never mind tariff wars and all that. It's just ridiculous. It's interesting that the Great Depression in 1929 started because of tariffs. It's quite interesting. It's just crazy. All right, so
yeah, there's a lot of things that went into that 29 thing.
They said that was one of the primary instigating thing was the tariffs at the time. Looking for a retrace for Bitcoin.
Oh, it's retraced now.
Yeah. So I would have usually have taken that entry right there because again, that's the sweep, that's the move up, that's the breach, the retrace, a little bit of just a small retrace, and then off they go. So we might not get a bigger retrace here. They might just take off again. Now that we're basically in the end of our second wave, this becomes a third wave now to take out this high. So it would have been a nice entry in here to get up to that high. So I caught it in NAS anyway. So, you don't have to be in everything and, it's not possible to catch everything. So it's all good. It all depends on your greed level, I suppose. But these are really, really beautiful, nice, clean setups here today. Market's moving very nicely. So we're in the last hour. So I hope this is all making sense, you guys. You guys are kind of seeing this really clear, hopefully, because this is it. This is all it is, you know. Keep it simple. Wait for the setup, and take your entry. Keep your stops. You can see, like I said on Bitcoin, I wouldn't have been putting my stop here if I was getting in. You know, I'd wait for the retrace. This was a better setup than on the NAS where they came down with wicks here, and so I'm trying to hide my stop under the wick. And so they have that opportunity to take you out. And that's what they did. So much nicer setup here on Bitcoin. But yeah, try to keep your stop tight, but not too tight that you get taken out. You know, there was an inverted gap here. That's why they came back into that inverted gap on that side. So mark off all your, you know, this is such a beautiful setup. The only thing on this setup here is that we did not breach the high with this move up. So there is an inverted gap. So mark off your inverted gaps, because price tends to come back to the inverted gaps. And there is no gap on this side. There's no gap here. So there's a big, huge order block. So the inverted gap was the catalyst here. So you would like to see them go above that high and close above it. They did it up here, but in here you'd like to see them do that. But you could use a previous high here to do for that. But it's more of a fractal high or a swing high that you want to see breach. That's why you get the change of character. It's the swing high. So, but in here it's still that same type of thing. It's just on a lower level time frame. You get that. The seconds chart, as it were. So there's just a recognition of it. If you can recognize it, it's beautiful, you know. Okay, so we are getting a little bit of a turn back here. So let's see if we get how far down we come. See my 4-hour candles.
Bitcoin.
So what would they be coming back to? There's only one little order block right there. So, and they could come back and sweep this guy and come touch that order block and then go. That would give you the opportunity for a buy. There's also an inverted gap there too. So, you know, always kind of keep your eye on those inverted gaps because they do come into play. There's another one above, but you want the one that's lower, not the one that's higher. So it is a possibility that they're not done and they could come and take this low again too, right? Because we do have a 1-2 here, and this could just be 3, and they go up and they could come back down. So there's still a possibility of that happening. I'm kind of seeing a struggle on the NAS at this moment in time, so that could be.
Yeah, the NAS has been struggling a lot. Yeah,
so they're struggling to get up there, right? So, and I haven't even moved my stop into positive. So let me do that, because this struggle could mean that they can't make it up any higher, and we're not getting any gaps here. So I'm just going to move my stop into positive just in case they decide to come back. So if we can get a gap here, which we're getting now, then that would help give us that push out of here. Because we do have a 1-2, another 1-2, so we should be pushing up. But if they can't get above here and this gap goes away, then we could certainly come back and take out this low one more time, which you don't really want to see, but that's a possibility, right? So Tesla is also struggling a little bit here. So trying to count the waves, 1, 2, looks like 3 here. So this would be a 4th, and we could certainly come back one more time.
That's what I'm
too
saying.
quick for a 3.
That's what I see.
Peter?
That's what I see.
Yeah, that's a total possibility. I just noticed it on NAS that it's struggling to get up there. So it's certainly a possibility that we can come back down one more time. Not that they're going to necessarily come back to take out the lows, but just come back in here. That's possible. This big order block here and smaller one here. NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is similar, eh? Similar type of movement going on in NVIDIA as well. So the same thing, they sweep,
They're
they
all the
go
same.
up. Sorry, they sweep. I'm sorry, did that wrong. They sweep. Oops, let me try this again. They sweep, they go up, they breach, they close above, they drop back in, buy. So check mark, check mark, check mark, check mark. So if you get 4 check marks, so 1 is your sweep, and I'm going to have put this into a PDF. And this is the beautiful picture of it. 2 is so you get your sweep, and the second one is another sweep. So the second sweep, which would be your change of character. I'm going to just say CC, change of character. And then number 3, or CH. Number 3, CH, eh? CH, they call it CHOC or whatever they call it. Number 3 is close. Close above or below, right? Close up, close above or below, change of character. And then 4 is your retrace. Your retrace. And that retrace, it can get into more, details. A retrace, you want to retrace between 50 to 62%, 50 to 62%, or into a gap, whether it's an, I gap or inverted gap or a gap, or an order block. So there's, these all have details to them. So I can go over the details in the PDF of what each one has. But that's what you're looking for. So that's the bread and butter. So I've been doing this for decades, but just looking at 1, 2, 3 like that for an entry, and that's it. I get in here and I'm out up here. And then I can wait patiently for another 1, 2, 3, get in again and get out, and so on. So it's just the same thing over and over and over. So I haven't deviated from this for decades and decades now. since the mid 90s. I've been trading the 1, 2, 3 pattern, and it's worked like a charm. It's helped me to retire early and all that kind of stuff. So it's been great. It really works. I think George and Peter would attest to it.
Pardon?
I think you and Peter would attest to the 1, 2, 3.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree, but it's not always easy to see 1, 2, 3 is the way you do.
Well, it's just practice and patience. You know, I've been doing it for so long. So, and you can see I'm not right every time. You see a 1, 2, 3, and the toughest part is to see it and then get in and stay in it, because a lot of times they're going to trick you and stop you out and things like that. So you're not always going to, be able to stay in that 1, 2, 3. But if you can stay in the 1, 2, 3, it plays out. If it's a valid 1, 2, 3, the key is that you want to be at a support level. In this case, if you want to be buying, you get that sweep, you get that move up. You want to be, this has to be, at some very strong area, gap, order block, something like that. Swing low.
Right now I'm sitting at 514 candles for the week. I mean, handles for the week.
Yeah, it's really struggling right now to get up there, eh?
Yeah.
So
I brought my limit down a bit and decided to not play around with it.
Yeah, it's looking like they might be exhausted and we're going to come back down. So I'm going to put my stop a little tighter, because I think that's what the ploy is here, to come back down. So
well, I reduced my limit so that it would take it out at a point that I would.
I took some more off earlier, but
yeah, okay, well,
just in case
way.
Yeah, it's struggling a little bit there. So
I mean, it probably will go, but it's in a fantastic struggle mode, and I figure, why fight it?
it's a little iffy, definitely. This is indicative of a fourth wave type move, because they're struggling so much. So they can be doing that chop, 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 and then we can drop back. If I'm certain about it, I would take the trade back to the downside, but I'm not totally convinced that they're going to come back down, but it's possible. Right?
Looks like Tesla's going down.
Let's take a look at Tesla.
It's got a 1, 2, 3 top on the 1 minute chart.
Yeah, so Tesla is very choppy. That's similar to NVIDIA. We got 1, 2, 3. So it's looking like, yeah, this is definitely a fourth wave chop, and we should come back down and take out these lows. So if that's the case, then that's going to happen on the NAS as well.
You see the 1, 2, 3 top on the wave 4?
In the wave 4 here?
Yeah. You see the 1, 2, 3?
Are you looking at from here?
Yeah, there. Down.
Yeah, that's a tough one from here, because this could be just a chop in here, and we could get one over here. So it's tough to call it from here, but I see what you're saying, but so that would mean that that's this 5 wave move that would have given us our 4. Yeah, that's possible, and then this would be a 1, 2 to come down.
Yeah, that's what I see.
Yeah, that's totally possible there.
Yeah, that's what I see.
It kind of looks like we're in a wave 4 on Tesla now.
Well, we are in a wave 4, George, but we might be coming out of it.
Yeah, on my 10-minute chart, it's just 3 dojis.
Yeah, so this is where the demarc lines would come into play here. So that would be a sell at this point on that closure.
Yeah, you got it.
So we
Yeah,
should
you
be
got it.
taking this low out.
That's a 1, 2, 3 top with a trend line break.
Yeah. So yeah, if you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So yes, we could call that our top, and then we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and that would be our number 2 point. And so yeah, we could be totally coming down. However,
But you're only looking to come down to possibly 261, or are you
no,
looking to come down
if
to the
this is
low,
correct, then we're taking this
260?
low out. This low is done. We're coming down lower, and we could even come back down to take out all the lows.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You see?
That's 260 is the low I have on the one.
So that is a total possibility. That's what they're doing. And it looks that way. So we've taken this low now. So all bets are off now that the next low is in jeopardy. And then the next one will be in jeopardy. These are equal lows here. So this could just be a counter trend. Beautiful counter trend move though. And you take your profits up here and look to go short again, right? So in my NAS, I'm probably getting stopped out now. Yeah, so I'm stopped out on that. Or my in profit, which is good.
Oh, you got stopped out on the NAS?
Yeah, but in profit, which is fine.
Yeah, yeah.
But
that's why I like to move my limit rather than the stop, because I always get a higher amount that way.
Mm-hmm. So I've got a 1, 2, 3 top there on the NAS. Same kind of thing, looking for them to take out this low.
Yeah. I was kind of glad I closed out on that at near the top.
Yeah, you almost have to be careful because we're in a very down market, and so
I know.
They can still come down and grab some more orders before they go, right? So they fake everybody to go long. So you need to take your profits quick because it could just be a big fake move. And you have to look at all the possibilities, and that's the thing. So Bitcoin then would be coming back down as well. And they are, and you can see a clean 1, 2, 3 at this point. So we'd be coming back down to take out this low. So opportunity for a buy right there in Bitcoin, or sell, sorry, in Bitcoin right there. It's breach. So this is a sweep, the breach coming back up. Can we get a retrace again? Possibly, and you could sell. So it's the same type of setup. Let me get rid of this guy. This guy.
Yeah, this thing came down quite a bit, really, didn't it?
With Tesla, yeah, they're looking to take out the bottoms.
Well, we're supposed to get some rain, so I think I'm going to try to get a walk in before the rain.
All right, George, no problem.
See you guys tomorrow, everyone. Good trading.
Right. Thanks for dropping in. Take care.
See you, George. Excuse me.
So same thing here on NAS. I could possibly get a retrace back into this gap. That'll give me an opportunity to continue the move down to take out the lows. Looks like that's what they're heading for, to take out these lows again. I can draw a straight line, take out these lows here. So if there was enough retrace here, that would give you an opportunity for a sell. So this is a change of character. So we would expect a retrace.
You leave it? Yeah. Okay, good luck. Thank you. You got some food?
Yeah.
Good.
Can we go back into this gap? Very close. We get a touch. Can we go a little higher into it? Might be asking for too much. Okay, that's not bad. I'll take it there. So I'll sell NAS at that point. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So a continued retrace. Turn around at this point, coming back down. So technically my stop should just be just above this candle here, but that might be a bit tight. So you could give it a bit of breathing room. I'll put it above the order block, but don't want to go too high up. Just so that should suffice here, and we should turn and come back down now. I took the same trade on Bitcoin, right at that same spot. I'm looking for them to drop it. So there's a gap there, just a little touch. There's 2 big gap. So can we fall away now? Stop loss would be above the order block right there. So let's see if I can survive. I didn't wait for Bitcoin to go into the gap, but touched it. So we've got half an hour to go. So this order block better hold price back. Nope, it did not. So that didn't work on the NAS. So it could be in jeopardy on Bitcoin as well. Interesting. So should my stop have been above the high? Perhaps that would have been a safer spot. Because they do that sometimes, just take you out by a wick. Hate that, but that's what happens sometimes. All right, so I'm getting a nice drop on Bitcoin. So let me just take it. Actually, I could jump back in on the NASDAQ here, but let me take a little profit off on Bitcoin while I have some. I'm too slow. Okay, so Bitcoin's giving me a nice profit now. So I'll take a partial there. You can always look to go back into the NAS. But the NAS is kind of bucking the trend here of going down, interestingly. So I might just hold off for a little bit here, see what it does. So let's see, S&P. S&P is saying no, we're not actually going back down. So what's Tesla doing? Peter, is Tesla coming back up?
Yeah,
So
I just covered my short because
yeah, they're playing games here.
I'm not greedy.
Yeah, they're playing a little bit of games here. So I'm going to too late. I'm gonna, yeah, okay, so that's fine. So I made some profits on Bitcoin. So yeah, they're not giving us. We would expect another leg down here. Right? We would expect that. So are we going to get it? So on the NAS, they looking to take the high out where S&P has already done that. So we're getting S&P saying, no, I'm not coming back down at all. It's just a fake out. And Bitcoin, I was able to just eke out some profits, make my loss back essentially, but they're turning it right back up. So I was expecting them to drop it one more time here, take out that low, but they said no. So I made a little bit of profit there. And now they're going right back up. So it is a fake move for it to come down. Interesting. Very, very astute on their part. Yeah. So we would expect, of course, we have a 1, 2, 3 top that we would get one more drop, but they're not doing that. So yeah, they're very good at manipulating that that structure. So again, the NAS broken the high. They haven't closed above it, whereas the S&P has. So it's a different ball game on the S&P. So we would look for the S&P to come back and then continue. You would think going that way, or it's just a big, huge fake out move that they're going to come back down this way. Which one will it be? Turnaround or continuation? So since we're coming into macro time, we have to look at it in where is all the liquidity sitting again. So Omar, you can help me today. Is Omar still with us? Omar is gone. All right. Stacy, you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you see where all the liquidity is sitting today on the S&P and the NAS?
I haven't been paying. I've been busy, so I haven't been paying too much. But it looks like it's below, right?
Yeah, we're still in a downward mode. I'm looking for a turnaround, mind you, but yeah, we've got a lot of equal lows down here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit more choppy at the top. We do have equal lows here, so we're kind of in limbo because of that. We have relatively equal lows below, relatively equal highs above. So it's a tough one today. Which way they're going to break it? And they do this on purpose because they want to befuddle you. Think of these markets in terms of the guys who are actually printing these candles, and they would be manipulating it in such a way that they make it look convincing for the buyers and the sellers, so that both parties will go the wrong way. It's very astute design. So you have to be able to see it, make the right decision. Otherwise, you lose. As simple as that. What's that? Okay. So are we forming a 1, 2, 3 here to come back down again? Because we're struggling in here. We can't get through this level. So it would seem that the pressure is on to the downside to continue down. Peter, are you seeing that in Tesla? Pressure to the downside? Mr. Bain, you with me? Nope. Okay, so liken this for a play to the downside here.
Looks like Tesla wants to go down again.
Yeah, I was just asking you what your thoughts were. Do you think there's pressure to the downside on Tesla?
Well, we have a
Looks
1,
like-
2, 3 top on the 1 minute chart.
Yeah, it looks like that's setting up on NAS here, and let's see S&P. S&P's already broken that low, so we're getting that 1, 2, 3 top that could take us down. Let's see Tesla. Tesla is a little different because we have a 1, 2, 3 bottom, and now we're here, so they could push it up one more time to take those highs. So
Do you
have to
not
be
see a
careful.
1, 2? Do you not see a 1, 2, 3 top there?
No, because I've got a 1, 2, 3 bottom here.
Oh, okay.
You see?
Oh yeah, I see that now. Yeah.
Yeah, so they could just be chopping here to go up one more time to take out these highs, and then
Oh.
they can come down.
Okay, I get it. Okay.
So yeah, so you always have to look at what's controlling the current move, and this is what's controlling it, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they faked us out here where it looked like we should be getting that drop here, but they didn't do that. So they went up, but they're going up in this way. So we could one more time sweep those highs. There's a lot of highs up here.
Sure looks like there's a 1, 2, 3 top on the 1 minute, but I see.
Yeah, I mean there is one, but it could be a fake out, right? Now, did they sweep this high? Looks like they did. It is a sweep, but they can still go back up there. Take them out one more time. So I'm a little bit leery of that move. So let's see NAS again. So NAS has broken that low. NAS looks more convincing, but we can still get a push back up first before we get the drop, which will be in line with Tesla moving back up one more time. Perhaps. I'm saying perhaps because they can just tank it right down without going back up. So that would make that 1, 2, 3 hold. So that means they're not giving us a fifth wave. So it's just a trick play in the sense that they didn't give us a fifth wave going down, and they might not give us a fifth wave going up. We're looking for that move. They don't give it to us. We're looking for this move, and they don't give it to us. So they could do it both sides just to trick us.
Sure looks like Tesla wants to go down.
Okay, Okay, so I've got a gap here. Or do I? No, I don't. No gaps, no gaps, no gaps. We got 9 minutes before macro, so I'm kind of thinking they might do that, Peter. They might go back up and take out these highs first if they're going to drop it. So it could just be a nice fake move that they're doing here. They're playing around.
Well, if it's a 1, 2, 3 bottom, why would they create a 1, 2, 3 top? I'm confused about their logic.
Okay, let me go back to Tesla again. Okay, so when you said that this was a 1, 2, 3, right?
Yeah.
So what we would be looking for, we're looking for a retrace and a drop.
Yeah.
But they go all the way back in to this level. So if this is the retrace, then yes, we're still on the way down, certainly, right? But they come back into this area so much, it's kind of messy. So if this is the retrace, then yes, this is a 1, 2, 3 valid, right? If this is a retrace. But if it's not a retrace, then this 1, 2, 3 was in play, and then we would be looking for another push back up to the top. But now it's looking like, okay, now they're coming back again into this area. So it's looking like, yeah, they want to go through now, right? So it looked like that we could get another pushback to take out the highs one more time. But so you see what I'm saying? This 1, 2, 3, we would expect them to drop it, but we don't want to see them go up that high into it. We want to see them come like in here and turn it. But they went up quite a bit into this area. So I'd like to see them turn it here and go down. But they play games and go all the way up in here. Look at the S&P and the difference. The S&P went quite a ways up. See the difference?
Yeah.
So this doesn't make sense that this is a 1, 2, 3 on the S&P to drop, because they've come all the way back and taken out the highs. So now now the S&P's got a 1, 2, 3. That makes sense that we should come down now. Do you see the difference?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3 here. So we'd expect another leg, but we're not getting that. So they move back up. So if they move back up and they take out these highs, it's kind of weird. So now they come back up and they make a 1, 2, 3. So now this is making sense that, okay, yeah, we can come back down now. But we would have expected a fifth leg here, but we didn't get it. So it's a manipulation on their part. And for them to take out these highs is very odd.
Why would they create a 1, 2, 3 bottom and then followed by a 1, 2, 3 top? I don't
Yeah,
understand.
so I'm trying to explain that, but I guess you're not understanding. So
Yeah, I'm not understanding.
yeah, okay, so they've created a 1, 2, 3 bottom, and you're saying why they create a 1, 2, 3 top.
Yeah.
If we get a 1, 2, 3 bottom, we're expecting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves. We're not getting that fifth wave.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Okay.
Right? So that's why we're getting a 1, 2, 3 top. So they're not doing the fifth wave. Just the same thing as they did here. They didn't give us the fifth wave here.
Okay.
So they created a 1, 2, 3 top, and then they created a 1, 2, 3 bottom. But we would be expecting a drop. We didn't get it.
Okay.
So they're manipulating it. They're manipulating the pattern, because they know, there are myriads of traders looking for this pattern, right? So they manipulate it.
Oh, to be a market maker, eh?
Yeah, because the market makers, they know all the patterns. They know all the triangles and the diagonals and the flags and the zigzags and the flats and all, whatever you want to call them. So they manipulate the market by making these patterns so that everybody gets in a kerfuffle, and so that's why you have buyers and sellers, right? Because buyers here, if you're an Elliottician, you're looking for another leg here. You're looking to buy here. If you're looking at something else, a flag or whatever, or a pennant or zigzag or something, you might be looking to sell here. So that's why you get buyers and sellers. That's why you always get buyers and sellers, because one guy thinks he's got it going this way, another guy thinks he's got it going this way, and that's why you get they call it an equal sum game, right? There's always going to be a buyer and a seller because somebody thinks they're right.
I just
Or
want
everybody
to be a winner.
thinks they're right, right? So that's the beauty of it, trying to figure it out. What are they doing exactly, right? So chatting away here, I totally disregarded Bitcoin and missed that, because they've got the nice setup and they're moving down. So that was a nice sell on Bitcoin coming back down.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all good. Peter, there's so many opportunities. It's not, if I could catch every opportunity, I'd be a gazillionaire.
I need a new pair of eyes. Some things I don't see.
Yeah, and that's okay. I mean, just wait. You're just looking for the gems, anyways, right? I mean, this 1, 2, 3 is like a golden setup. It's nice, but it came off something that's weird here. They kind of weird here. Whereas, like I said, with the S&P, the S&P was giving us a better setup. You get a nice 1, 2, 3 because we took out those highs, where the NASDAQ didn't do that. So this is a much better setup on the S&P.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I got to go. I have to take my car in again, so I got to skedaddle.
All right.
So we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for dropping in.
Yeah,
so see right now, Peter, I got a 1, 2, 3. So I'm expecting a drop, right?
Yeah.
That will be the expectation, that we're going to drop and take out these lows, because I've got a 1, 2, 3 here.
A 1, 2, 3 top, you mean?
Yeah, I've got a 1, 2, 3 top, so I'm expecting a drop.
Yeah, now I'm not so sure because price is going up.
This is when you want to sell, because price is going up, but it's 1, 2, so I want to be selling in here to continue the drop back down. So that's when you want to sell.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we've got 10 minutes to go.
Oh, 1 minute before the macro here. Let me see if I can catch this macro today. So we've got less than about 30 seconds to go. No gaps, just an order block. So I'm thinking they're coming down. Bitcoin looks pretty good too. A lot of manipulation going on here. I'm selling Bitcoin. I'd like to sell NASDAQ. I've got 10 seconds to make a decision. I'm going to sell NASDAQ before they. All right, so looking for them to drop it. Let's see if I'm correct. So I'll put my stop loss above the order block.
See you tomorrow, Lennox.
Who's that?
Me, Peter.
Oh, okay, Peter. All right. Take care.
Good show as usual.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
I'm learning lots. I'm
That's what it's
hanging
all
on
about.
your I'm hanging on your every word. Just when I think I know it all, you teach me something new.
I wish I knew it all.
Well, you know more than I do.
Every day is a learning experience, really, when it comes right down to it.
I don't know how you can feel like you're so right and then you find out you're so wrong.
Yeah. Well, again, they're manipulating the charts to make it look right for both parties, you know, the buyers and the sellers. So you have to be able to discern and be super confident in your analysis. And it's very difficult. They're not making it easy for either party. That's the whole challenge.
Okay,
So
I got to run.
that's why there's a winner and loser for every play, a loser and a winner, you know, because one of them is going to get it right and the other one's going to get it wrong.
I like to be a winner.
Yeah, that's the whole objective. Win, no losing. So you see right now with Tesla, they came back so high. If you're still here, they came back up so high in there. So we get this 1, 2, and then they drop it down. And I wouldn't expect them to come that high into this area. So it's a bit disconcerting that they come so high up. I just want them to come to this area.
They didn't take out the number 3 point.
See, when they do that, it throws you off. I'm still expecting them to come down, but they've gone so far up into that area, and they did it here as well. They did the same thing. They came up into that area, so they manipulate it and make you start second guessing yourself. You know, am I really correct here or what?
Yeah, the problem with Tesla is you can think you're right and get into a trade, and then by the time you realize that you're wrong, you know, price has gone against you a couple bucks.
It's too late. Yeah, that's why you have to have your stop.
Well, yeah, but on that subject, I find that, you know, I sometimes don't have time to put a stop on because
moving so fast. Yeah.
It's moving so fast, and you know, your brain's trying to figure out what's going on, and you're trying to stay in the trade, and you know, price goes against you a little bit, and you wonder, well, did I get it? You know, did I get it right? Or all I'm doing right now is if I feel I got the trade wrong, I'll just get out quickly because I can always get back in.
Yes.
But even if I put a stop on with Tesla, you'll still lose, you know, a minimum of $2, which is a lot of money.
Yes.
Because I'm trading 300 shares at a time, so $2, that's $600. So it's the challenge for me is just to make sure I get it right the first time.
Yeah, see, they're coming to get me here because you know, I'm not expecting them to come back into this area, and they're coming up. You know, I'm trying to be stingy with my stop, even though it is a wide stop. And look what they did with Tesla here. Wow, it's like, so where do you put your stop, right?
They just drove it through the roof.
They took out those highs. Like I was saying, it's a possibility that they could do that. They could come back up and take out the highs first before they drop it. And so it's super manipulation here. You know, we're expecting that, oh, they wouldn't even come back into this area, and then we just come down from here. But they go right above it, sweep everybody out, take all the stops, and now they can come back down in a hurry and leave everybody in the dust. So it's very much a lot of manipulation going on here. And maybe we're totally wrong and they're not coming back down to take out these lows at all, and they're just going to continue going back up. So it's very, very tough, very tough.
Yeah, I don't see it going up. I think I think we're in a downtrend, but I'd have to look at it more closely.
I'm still alive, but barely, just hanging on by a thread right now. And I'm not going to move my stop. I'd rather take that loss. I can make that back, than to move my stop, because that's the worst thing to do, is to move your stop away thinking that, oh, they're not going to get you. And then your loss becomes even more. So
looks like we could have a 1, 2, 3 bottom on the 1 minute chart for Tesla.
I'm still looking for them to drop this thing, but they're holding off here. Looks like maybe till the close before they do drop it.
Anyway, I got to skedaddle, so we'll see you tomorrow, buddy.
All right. Thanks for dropping in.
Yeah, good show.
Take care. All right, so who's left? Everybody's dropping like flies here. Calvin's still with me, Marquis, Stacy. All right. So got a few more minutes before the close. Looking for them to drop this thing down. How did your gold trade work out, Marquis? You good? Marquis there? See how S&P is still looking to come down. NASDAQ to come down. Bitcoin struggling, but still looking for that to drop as well. Bitcoin looks like more of a fourth wave type move here, so it looks like we are chopping in this area. We could see possibly, or they might go first. So a little different. Oh, we had a nice drop there. All right, we're right at the bell now, so let's see if we get a big drop down now. Wow, it's a battle.
And back, Lennox.
All right, Omar.
Yes, sir. The power went.
Oh, that's not good. You got rains or something? Winds?
No, not as yet. The sky is dark, but it's not. It's not. It wasn't raining when it went, so I guess it's poor outage.
I was trying to hail Marquis. Marquis, you with us?
I missed the analysis. What why you're looking to go down?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a tough one because we're kind of flat here, so I'm looking for them to. We're kind of in a triangle. We're for them to take the lows.
Yeah,
before we get that move back up.
See, it could be either. It's because there's liquidity above and there's liquidity below.
Mm-hmm. So we're kind of in a trap.
Yeah.
And they're manipulating it very well. We have more equal lows down here, but we do have equal lows here as well.
Yeah.
So I was looking for this one final push down, but it's a lot of manipulation going on, so they're messing everybody up.
Yeah.
And I'm looking to like I'm in trouble here.
Well, they might just sweep that top one more time, hopefully.
Yeah, I was hoping they wouldn't sweep that, but it looks like they might just do that. I thought we'd hold off on that and get that 1-2 and continue down, but they are sweeping that high again, unfortunately. So I had a 1-2. I thought we were done here with that sweep, and we get this move. Everything looked pretty good, but we didn't get a closure below. So I was kind of skeptical that maybe they would come back up and take that high, but I was hoping they wouldn't. But hope, there's no such thing as hope in this game, right? Hopes and prayers and all that don't work.
Yeah, have to be on the right side. Either you are or you're not.
Mm-hmm. So in a situation like this, we have buyers and sellers, and that's why there are buyers and sellers, right? Because buyers think it's going up, sellers think it's going down, and there's always a buyer and a seller. For every buyer, there's a seller, and vice versa. So, yeah, that's what makes this game. But these guys who are manipulating this are very good because they put you against each other.
Yeah, it's a fierce battle.
Mm-hmm. So, who's correct? You know.
Lennox, can you take a look at gold and give me your bias on it?
Yeah, I was just calling to you to ask you about gold, but you weren't answering me there. So, glad to see you're back. Let me go up to look at it from a longer term. So daily, we're in a very strong push to the upside on the daily 4 hour. So we can see on the 4 hour that we're in a fourth wave, right? So we chopped up and down in this fourth wave. Very choppy, messy stuff. So now back to an order block, pushing off to the upside. So we're looking at this current leg right here. So keep going to so that's the 4 hour. So the 4 hour candles help to give you an idea. So the previous candle took out the high and closed above it. So I would expect that this is going to be just a wick or tail, and we're going to continue pushing to take out the highs of the candle here, the previous daily high. So marking that off, previous daily high is right here. and then we've got other highs above. So we're looking to come back up into these areas here for sure, right? And maybe even, and of course, taking out the next highs. So on the hourly, now we can see from down here, we've got a nice 1, 2, 3 bottom pushing up. We're in a fourth wave. So we're looking for a push back to the upside here to take out these highs. That makes sense?
It does.
And you're with that same sentiment?
Yeah, I've been mostly just counting on or looking off of the 4 hour because we're in the fourth wave. So just short scalps to the upside mainly.
Okay, so yeah. So it looks pretty good. There's a gap here. So we came back into that gap. And so we could get a push off that gap at this point. It looks like that's what it's trying to do. But there could be a 1, 2, 3 right here as well. It looks like there is. Let me see the 15. Let me just go back to the 30-minute here. I'm going to mark this gap so that I have something to gauge where I am. So there's a gap right there. So we'll come down to the 15. So we're touching that gap, looking to bounce off the gap and continue up. And that's what it looks like it's doing. However, at this point, I see there's a 1, 2, 3. So we could, do this one more time. That's possible.
Well, that's recent since that news that Stacy was talking about.
It gave you this drop?
Yep, because it was mainly just going up. And then it just, as soon as the dollar turned positive, it kind of stopped and shuffled around in there.
Yeah, so at this point here, it was a sweep. And then they started going up. And so it looked pretty good, but we have very large 1, 2, 3s here. So there was still room for this to come down further. And that's what they've done, sweeping these. So because we have a 1, 2, 3 here now, we could still do that one more time. That's possible. So be aware of that, right?
Okay. So, but we're still kind of respecting that fourth wave on the 4 hour.
Yes.
Because kind of I don't know if because the dollar's gonna kind of, I'm guessing, do a reversal in the next couple of days here. Will it respect that fourth wave, or will it just try to drop to the bottom?
It's looking to me like they're going to come down and take out this low, because we've got a 1, 2 here, and this move down. This is just a fake move to the upside, and they're going to continue down. This doesn't look like a bottom, even though we've come into a gap and everything. So if I go back to the 4 hour, this is very important at this point now. So on the 4 hour, yes, we came into, make it bigger. Yes, we came into this gap, but there is room for it to come down a little bit more. So the 4 hour doesn't really give me the picture that I'm looking for. I need to go a little lower. And then on the hourly, that's a lot better. So the gap is from a 30-minute. There is no hourly gap, but there is an hourly inverted gap. It's very large though. It's quite wide. So you can see price could come all the way to the midpoint of that inverted gap. So we could drop down one more time.
Yeah, I was actually just right. I was tracking that 1, 2, 3, this whole downward movement. So at around 15, what is it? 1520. So let's say 1523 on the 1 minute. And I was like, man, I could take that, because that's especially with the dollar turning around. But I already hit my day quota, so I was like, no, I might as well just leave it and just be thankful for what I have.
Yeah, and that's good. No need to be greedy and give it back, if you're wrong.
Yep.
But the thing about that, and I always say, is that, you can play and leave it till tomorrow, but tomorrow you can be wrong too. So, right, you can give it back tomorrow. You know what I mean? There's never any guarantees in the game.
Yeah, my quota has been, I think, since last week, it's gone up every day. I was like, all right, I just want to make such and such to such and such. I was like, well, that was fairly simple. So I just want to make such and such and such and such.
Yeah,
and
that's good.
Like, yep. So
set a quota for the day, you know, and try to achieve it. That's what you want to do. There might be a gap there, but there isn't a gap. Very, very close, very tiny one. So yeah, this is definitely looking like they might want to drop it one more time here on us. So
there's going to be some momentum in there shortly. On the 5 minute, we have two inside candles. And I noticed that after inside candles, there's usually a bit of momentum to either side. But we have one inside candle to the upside, and then we have another inside candle to the downside.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to break. It's going to break a certain way, and it's going to move for a little bit.
Well, I think like I say, I think they're coming back down to take out the low.
And that's where the momentum's heading. Especially, it's been oppositely correlated with the dollar all week. So with the dollar strength, that's sounds about right.
Yeah, we're very much in this. So I can see them continuing down one more time. And it's all based on the 1, 2, 3 at this point. So I'm on the 1 minute here, but we have this large 1, 2, 3. So and another 1, 2, 3 here. So this puts us at a third wave. So we could chop up and down in here. It could even come up a little bit, but we're going to come down. Now, that's what I would expect anyways.
So
just be aware of that.
Daily, it looks like we're going to let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So on a daily, it kind of looks like, so I recall you saying that the market always moves in 5 wave patterns. So
yes,
even if it's like just like a short 1, 2, 3 or like a short 5-wave pattern where it's not really a defined 4th wave, I'll wait until there's at least five waves before I start looking for opposing, like opposite trades in the opposite direction. So on a daily, it looks like it's kind of in a 4th wave right now. So should we expect to just because on the daily, it looks like it might be in the 4th wave, but on the 4-hour, we're in a 4th wave to the upside. So should I expect it to just hit that quick 4th wave to the upside, just really, really quickly? If not them saying, all right, we've already hit it, and then trying to complete that 4th wave to the downside for the daily.
So of course, the 4 hour is going to be earlier. So you're watching it from the lower because the daily is showing you, yes, that it's setting up. We're in a 4th wave. The 4 hour is telling you where the depths of it, where the details of it, that there's still room. There's a big gap here and so forth. There's room for price to come down a little bit more into this. What it's trying to do right now is make a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move. This to get us out of there, right? It's trying to make a 1, 2 here to go. So we're just in the 4th wave of it at this point. We're just moving around in here. We want to get out of it to the upside to take out these highs. So that's basically what it's doing. But when you go to the nitty-gritties of it and the details of it, there is room for this to drop one more time before you would get that turnaround to go up. So just be aware of that, right? That we're sitting at that crucial spot because there is a 1, 2, 3 right here. So since there's a 1, 2, 3 here, I'm expecting one more drop. And it could take us into the middle of the inverted gap. That's on this side. And there's the midpoint of it. So this is very powerful stuff that ICT points out that, a lot of traders don't even look at that stuff, but it's very, very important. But our structure is again the key, and it's here. I'm on the 15 or the 5, and it's telling me this 1, 2, 3 right here is the key right now. It's dropping. We should roll over and continue down.
Okay, good deal. That works.
Okay, so I could be wrong. If this is the bottom, we would expect price to continue up, maybe a little retrace and continue. But because I have a 1, 2, 3 here, this is what's controlling this current move. So I have to expect that move.
That's basically how I'm tracking it. I just don't really trust that. For some reason, I don't trust the fourth wave on the 4 hour. I'm thinking they're wanting to drop it just all the way down, especially with the unpredictable nature of the dollar this week. I think they're going to try to turn someone into their target, and I think that's how they're going to. I assume it's going to be interesting to watch it play out, but that's what that's what I always kind of try to expect, the least expected thing from them, and see if they do it or not.
Yes. Always have to have an expectation, right, of what it's going to do next. So that's the key to it. All right, well, we're past 15 minutes after, so I'll call it a day. Thank you guys for dropping in and hanging in with me. Appreciate it very much.
Thanks, Lennox.
As always.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, George.
Thank you.
All right, gentlemen. Catch you
All
guys
right,
tomorrow.
Marquis.
Okay.
Best
Thanks,
of luck
Lennox.
there. Omar, thank you.
All right, sir.
Stacy,
Everyone.
Calvin, thank you.
Okay, bye now.
All right, take care, guys. Have a
Bye now.
great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.